Just come up here and stand in front of the microphone.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's about time we get started. Starting at 9 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock for next meantime, adjusted by 6 hours. We will, go ahead and get a seat, please, everybody. And, Mr. Brown is giving this some last minute, you're looking at that, that's right. Does anyone still need a program? We have some programs left. They're in a box right over there. They're $15 and you can pay me into that. I'd like to call our meeting to order. I'd like to ask if you wouldn't mind to stand. Our mayor, Mike Felix, is going to offer a word of prayer as we open our meeting.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for all the blessings you bestow upon us. Lord, thank you for the freedom that we can come together today and meet. Have this meeting, Lord, and thank you. And please be with us at this meeting, Lord, and bless this meeting for us. Lord, please bless our veterans, our Vietnam veterans, all of our veterans, Lord. Please be with those and their families. And Lord, we thank them so much for the sacrifices that they give to our country. I want to thank the Historical Society, Lord. Please bless the Historical Society for the work they put in, the volunteers. We thank them so much for the hard work that they do. And Lord, please bless them and the work they do. Lord, we thank them so much for preserving the past as they do for our future generations. In your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Y'all may be seated. I want to thank our mayor for being here today. Mayor Mike Felix is always an encouragement to all of our city and just about everything he does, and I appreciate that very much. Our city manager, Ms. Gina Nash, is here, and Lauren, her assistant, is here. We want to thank you for being here, and I know we've got some of our city councilmen. I don't want to leave somebody else. I'm not going to go through the name of everybody, but I appreciate everyone that's here. This is a formal meeting we have to have by our bylaws each year. We've invited our veterans to come to be honored, so we're going to move through the meeting portion of it as quickly as possible. We would appreciate you guys being here. We're going to do your part at the very first of this, or right after the part we've got to get done first. If you guys need to leave, you're welcome to leave. We'd love for you to stay. We've got, we want to take some more pictures, and you're welcome to take pictures with your family if you'd like. And Ed will explain a little bit more about how this works. It's really kind of an amazing event. Once this is over, we'll have some munchies over in the museum, which is right across the way here. Some really good munchies. So if you're very hungry, you're welcome to stay. Kind of take a look at our museum and see what all's there. We're very proud of it. Done a lot of work lately, and we've got some plans for it here in the future. But we also want to thank Charles in here, Charles Smith.
No,
Where in the world is Charles?
he had a church related event.
Yeah, okay. Charles will let us use the chapel here each year for this event. We appreciate it. Just a perfect location for our meeting, and he knows we appreciate it. We put him in our list. Anyway, Miss Diana, if you will come forward, we do have to take care of some of our business. And if you did everyone get our program? We do have a few programs left. We want to make sure everyone has one if they'd like to have it. We've got quite a bit of information in there. But we do have to go through, those that have the program, we will be taking votes on this. The people that are members of our association alone are supposed to vote. There are the minutes of our last meeting in February, and they're in the book if you'd like to look those over. And I will entertain a motion that we accept those minutes. Ed makes a motion we accept the minutes as presented. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Mr. Bob Sewell seconds the motion. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank goodness. The next thing that we have is our financial statement, financial information. Ms. Diana Smith, she's going to reiterate that for us.
There's several pages in here. We really only have to approve this year, but I've included the financial report for all of 2017. That's just for you to view. And then we also include our audit, our lady who goes over things for us. And And we've also included an in-kind donation for 2017, just to show you that we do get a lot of donations that are not listed on our financial report. Like this last year, it was $9,703 that we took in. The next thing we look at is the financials for this year. That's what I need the vote on. That's just covering January and February. So if everything looks good.
I'll make a motion.
Cindy will make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to accept.
Okay. Here's a second. Tricia, thank you. Here's our budget.
All those.
And that's the budget for 2018. If we could get a motion on that, if you've all looked at that. Ed?
Yes.
And Sandy, thank you. Okay, that's all I have to do. Back to you.
Thanks, well, we wanted to, we do try to keep things lined up. We have an outside accounting firm do our financial statement just to make sure we're all above board with everything. I'm not sure we can trust that. We do have to vote on these things, which we've done. Appreciate that. One of the things this year, since we did have the Vietnam War Memorial come to town, we had a significant amount of donations that came through our association that do not show up on our financial statement. The reason for that is a lot of people go out and get stuff and donate it, and don't ever charge us for it. They were just running through our county. We had numerous donations from various Home Depot, Lowe's, all sorts of places like that donated. See almost $10,000 worth of stuff for this event, and it wasn't part of our financial statement, but we wanted to show it in there because when we get to our goals for next year, we're going out and soliciting grants and funds to help these projects, and we want to show that we actually had more than what we showed up on the financial statement. So there's all sorts of reasons for that. And one of the reasons for, if those of you that's got this booklet, that we put all this stuff in there is that I've been all over Texas, and when I go to different places, I stop in cities and look at historical societies and museums. I have seen very few that even come close to what we have here, facility-wise, management-wise, and the resources are available. One of them I do know in Diboll, they had $1.5 million donated for their museum. It's a nice place. I got to hand it to them in first class. It's staffed with people and supported by the city. We do not have that. So we're all of our income is from donations, from financial donations, or from donations from people that are helping, just like the ladies and gentlemen that are around here today. So any of you guys that would like to help, we're open for business. We're taking donations. We also are accepting memberships. $20 for a person can be a member of our association for a year. A family, I believe, $50. I believe a family's $50, and we have a lifetime membership for $500. We've had people take care of that.
No, $20 for a family.
$20 for the family. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, she's our membership chairman, so she knows. Thank you. And that's a pretty good deal. $20, you can be a member of our group. So all the stuff in this booklet are things that we've done this past year. We've got a little video we're going to show you in a few minutes that kind of recaps the activities for the year. But we're real proud of what we've been. I'd like to take credit for all this stuff, but I can't. Everybody in here, just about beside me, has done most of the work, and I appreciate the help very much. But anyway, we did get through our financial stuff. We have, let me get back to my schedule here.
Board of directors.
We have to, our board of directors, we have to vote on our board of directors. They are listed, basically the same board of directors that were here the last 2 years. President is Bobby Tillman, I don't know who he is. Colin King is our vice president. He is a city council member. He is away out, had to be out of town today. Our treasurer is Diana Smith. She was up here just a minute ago, and Cindy Mitchell is our secretary. So I entertain a motion that we accept the nominations of these folks as the board of directors for next year. Mr. Ed Jones, Ed Durant, makes a motion that we makes a motion that we accept the board of directors. Do I hear a second? Mr. Sewell seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Does anybody want a job?
Does anybody want to? I asked for a pay increase this year, and it didn't work out again. Now that we're down to one of the most important part of our meeting today, and that's to honor our veterans.
Rest of the directors.
Directors,
We did,
the directors. No, you did the officers. You need to do the directors.
I don't have it on my list. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
They said the board of directors, I'm sorry, I actually left that out on my note here. We do need to vote on the directors, and so the directors are listed on the page back here. There's a picture of some of us, and then there's a list of the names. You don't do it. Yeah. All right, the board members are Ed Brown, Lindsey Bueller, Kathy Cobb, Zach Gray, Ted Kinzer, Tricia Lindsay, Bob Sewell. Okay. So now then, I entertain a motion that we accept these directors. Do I hear it? And it has to be someone that is not one of them, so it would have to be one of you ladies.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Sandy makes a motion that we accept the board of directors. Diana seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Sorry about that. But we do have now, am I on the right schedule?
You're good.
Okay, you gotta keep in line here.
Well, you do so much.
See,
You did a great job.
one of the things that we're here specifically for today is our board meeting. We have to have one annually. The second thing that we're here for is to honor our veterans. And Ed, where's Ed? Oh, come on up, Ed. Ed is in charge of this event, and it's a really special thing. And I tell you, one of the things that really captivated my attention was 2 days ago in this very spot right here was a veteran that had been, he was killed on his 20th birthday in World War II. He was shipped overseas, he landed, he was killed, and his body was interred. He had no family left. They couldn't figure out who, his descendants up until, I think, toward the end of last year. Found out he has a cousin that lives in our area, and so his body was brought here by a military escort. This is amazing, amazing. I got to see that. And his body was literally right here where I'm standing, and there was a military guard. It was just an incredibly moving experience. His body was carried out. They had motorcycles and police and everything that escorted him to the cemetery, the National Cemetery in Grand Prairie, where he was interred, and that was on Channel 8 News. I'm not sure if y'all saw that or not, but the news people are going to supply us with some video. We have some of the stuff here, but to think that his family, there was no family left except just very distant relatives. So it was a blessing that we could even see a portion of that. But the guys that are here, Ed, we're going to go ahead and take over and take care of this program. But we thank you guys for being here. We do want to get a group shot of you guys. And I think Ed will explain this. This goes to the National Archives in Washington. And any of the family members that would like to get a picture taken with the gentleman, when this is over, Mr. Ruben Escamilla has traveled the world taking photography, doing photography for Rockwell and different professional organizations. He's going to be here to take pictures. Any pictures that you'd like, we'll stay here as long as we need to. And we'll get a good still picture if you guys want to get a group shot. Anyway, Ed, go ahead and take it.
All right, let me give you a little background on what this event is all about. In May of 2012, the United States Congress passed legislation to authorize the formation of the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration. The purpose of this activity had 2 purposes. The first purpose was to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and the other side of it was to recognize the military service of the veterans during this period of November 1st, 1955 to May 15th of 1975. Those are actually the dates of the Vietnam conflict. This national commemorization was placed under the responsibility of the Secretary of Defense, who administers the program through what's called commemorative parties. The national commemoration has the following goals. The number 1 goal is to thank and honor Vietnam veterans and or their families. This includes the families of deceased Vietnam veterans, veterans that are listed on the wall in Washington, D.C., the Vietnam Memorial Wall, which also includes those veterans that are missing in action. The next goal was to highlight the service of the armed forces in general, all the armed forces during this period of time, to include federal agencies, both governmental and non-governmental, that were in operation during the Vietnam conflict or war. The next thing was to pay tribute to the wartime contributions made at home during the war by American citizens. Another goal was to highlight the technology, service, and medical advances made during the Vietnam War. And finally, it was to recognize the contributions and sacrifices of our allies that participated with us in the Vietnam conflict. To accomplish this task of recognizing nearly 9 million living Vietnam veterans and their families, the Department of Defense created what's called commemorative partnerships. And these partnerships are with community-based organizations. The whole goal was to bring this recognition down to the community level. They didn't want to do it at the national level. So the Sachse Historical Society, we became one of the commemorative partners to this program. And what our duty is to conduct ceremonies, local ceremonies in the communities to honor and thank these military veterans and their families. The commemorative partnerships conduct a minimum of 2 of these events a year. It's a requirement that you do 2 events a year, each calendar year, to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War and to recognize the veterans of that conflict. Today we're going to honor the veterans that are seated to my left with a certificate recognizing their service, a Vietnam service pin, lapel pin, and a proclamation from the President of the United States that recognizes this event. Therefore, the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration, in partnership with the Sachse Historical Society of Sachse, Texas, will now recognize the service, valor, and sacrifice of the following military veterans. I will call each one up individually. I will read what their service was, and then if the family members, if you want to get a picture after the event, you can come up here and get a family photograph if you'd like. I'd like for you to hold the applause for each veteran and do it at the end. So, you know, we should be able to raise the dead in the funeral home here with the applause, okay? A little humor. Okay, the first veteran that we're going to recognize is Eugene Close. Sergeant Eugene M. Close served with the United States Army, the 101st Airborne Division at Eagle Base, Hue, South Vietnam, from January 1970 to April 1970. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor you as a veteran of the Vietnam War. Thank you. Next veteran is Edward Elmore. Specialist Edward J. Elmore, United States Army, Vung Tau, South Vietnam, September 1967 to September 1968. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor you as a veteran of the Vietnam War. Jack Hawkins.
Okay. Can you let me see? So I can see the certificate.
Sorry. Sergeant Jack W. Hawkins, United States Army, 59 Signal Company, Long Binh, South Vietnam, June 1970 to June 1971. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a Vietnam veteran.
Thank you. I wonder who this next one is.
Fred Jerger. Damage Controlman Second Class, Fred Leroy Jerger, United States Navy. Service with the USS Kitty Hawk CVA 63, South Vietnam, 1964, 1965, and 1966. Then, service with the USS Duluth, an LPD 6, South Vietnam, 1967, 1968. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a Vietnam veteran. He's wanting to get a picture. He's getting on. He's getting pictures.
Thank you.
Carlisle Johansson. Aviation Structural Mechanic, Third Class, Carlisle Johansson, United States Navy, Willow Grove Naval Air Station, Anti-Submarine Unit, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, October 1973 through September 1980. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a veteran of the Vietnam War. Robert Kuharski, excuse me. Sergeant Robert J. Kuharski, United States Air Force, Electronics Maintenance Repairman, Karamusul, Republic of Turkey, and Kelly Air Force Base, Texas, April 1966 to February 1970. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service during the Vietnam War. Russell Lear. Sergeant Russell S. Lear, United States Marine Corps, 1st Marine Air Wing, MABS 36, Marine Corps Air Station, Futima, Okinawa, Japan, June 1971 to June 1972. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a Vietnam veteran. Thank you. Thank you. John Mackey. Specialist 5, John W. Mackey, United States Army, 1st Infantry Division, Base Camp Diem, in Cam Ranh Bay, South Vietnam, October 1969 to October 1970. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a Vietnam veteran. Thank you. Thomas McDonald. Sergeant Thomas McDonald, United States Air Force, Aircraft Radio Maintenance, in support of the Strategic Air Command, SAC, January 1969 to January 1973. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a veteran of the Vietnam War. Robert Merriam. Staff Sergeant Robert Merriam, United States Air Force, Master Instructor, United States Air Force in the Philippines, Guam, and Thailand, 1965 to 1973. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service. Lawrence Quaid. First Lieutenant Lawrence Quake, United States Marine Corps, 1st Marine Air Wing, Da Nang, South Vietnam, July 1969 to July 1970. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service. Thank you very much. Robert Sewell. Staff Sergeant Robert M. Sewell, United States Air Force, Aircraft Warning and Control Maintenance, Okinawa, Japan, 1968 to 1969. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your service as a military veteran of Vietnam. Thank you. David Turk. Staff Sergeant David D. Turk, United States Army, Military Police Corps, U.S. Army Europe, 1970 to 1977. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank and honor your services as a military veteran of Vietnam. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. All right, just to close a little bit, we will hold another one of these presentations in November of 2018. It'll be in here, it'll be over at our Historical Society. If you know of any Vietnam or Vietnam-era veterans, we'd like to honor them. Where they live makes no difference to us. It's not based upon where they live, it's based upon their service. All you have to do is contact the Saxe Historical Society. We have a web page. If you want, get with me after the thing. I'll give you my personal phone number, and we will set you up for our next ceremony. If you know of any family member of a deceased Vietnam vet or one that's missing in action, anything like that, we'll also want to honor them. I know it's hard for some of these veterans to come forward, and especially the family members to come forward, but we sure like the honor of recognizing them at one of these ceremonies. All right? Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen, for participating in this. I think it's, those of us that are about that age can remember vividly. I watched Walter Cronkite every night on the news talking about the devastation in Vietnam and their places over there, and then when the soldiers were coming home. My father was in World War II, and most of the soldiers up until Vietnam era, I tell this story several times, when most of the soldiers came back home, they had parades and honors and all sorts of things. In Vietnam, they were spit on, they were told terrible things. And some of the recipients that we've given us out to before said, you know, they were told when they left the military bases not to wear their uniforms. You know, it was terrible, but I think that America, the nation has found out that was a terrible thing. And the Vietnam Wall, when it was built, I think, kind of marked a time in history when it became obvious and apparent that we needed to thank the gentleman like yourself. That instead of, you know, it was just something that we did wrong, and we're trying to make up for it. And this is one of the things I'm glad that the government's doing this. And I'm glad that they found out that we can participate in it. It's something we did, a very small thing that we can do, but it means a lot to some of us. And thank you very much for allowing us this. We do want to get, before you guys leave, we would like to get a picture. We do need to send this in. They asked that we send this in to the National Archives. It's kept as part of the records there. Okay, moving right along. We have all sorts of volunteers that help this organization. Ms. Kathy Cobb keeps those folks organized and up and going. Appreciate all that she does, Kathy, and I think she has some information she wants to hand out to the people.
All right, you got it. Well, actually, in the order of events here, good afternoon. But in the order of events today, I know y'all really believe in Saxe and Saxe's history and how important it is to our hearts and for the other surroundings to know about us and to share that information, right? And that's what a museum is about. So to do that, you need volunteers. The volunteers we have, maybe few right now, 7. I guess I could count as 8. But they are very strong in believing in Sachse. They've lived here quite a bit, a long time, and there may be a few little silver flakes on the rooftop. That doesn't tell you what's in the heart and how much energy they got. Because they get up there and they help clean, they greet people. Now Bob Soul, he's going to be coming up here. He's like our master craftsman, man. He gets up there and he was just patching and fixing things with Diana the other day. But he's done many other things. Anna and Irene, you'll find at the senior center, they are card sharks. They will get you. Martha and Wayne, descendants of the family, Martha and Wayne Long. Where are you, Martha and Wayne? Wave your hands. There they are. Now, we have Miss Maisie. Miss Maisie, she's a special case. Now, I love Maisie. Her last name is Wheat. Can you believe she's allergic to wheat? But I bring snacks, and sometimes she eats a little bit of those. She really enjoys them. Now, beyond that, I find Roger Brand quite interesting. Where are you, Roger? Sometimes I call him Roger Dodger. He is fascinating. He's in real estate. If you want to know where something is, ask him. If you want to buy something, definitely have a chat with him. He'll tell you what is a safe bet, maybe, procedures and things you should be careful of. And even if you don't buy through him, he'll help make sure that you don't have problems. He's a good man. And he is also a descendant along with Martha and Wayne. Good people, everyone. Now, I myself have been here about 36 years. Some days it feels like 50. Others it seems like 2 seconds. I'm originally from Fostoria, Ohio. And what I have learned is people around here collected Fostoria glass. I had no idea until the last 2 weeks. Talking with Virginia Stone and Eileen McConnell, who used to do our newsletter, Fostoria. Well, when the gas petered out, the company moved states. But in Fostoria, we still have a museum. And it's fun to visit just like ours. So, I will move on to what I'm supposed to do. Give them their thank you, small but lovely. So, I have been considering myself stepping back and not doing so much with volunteers. But, in thinking about all these people, and realizing that it's part of my heart, I just can't do that. Tricia, Lindsay have been doing so much. If you come to our board meetings, and you're welcome to come, 3rd Saturdays of the month, come on down. See what we're talking about. See what our agenda's about. Become a part of what's going on. Maybe someday you want to be a board member. Help keep the tradition going, you know? Well, with all that said, Tricia, stand up, come on. Now, y'all don't know. Those things that look pretty over there? Oh, Diana too. Where's Diana?
Diana?
Tricia does beautiful things over there. Not just in designing things with Diana Smith. Where is she? Oh, Diana, come here, come here. These two make it look lovely. So when you come in and see, they're like our curators, you might say. So when you come over and visit and these volunteers help you, they've made it work. They have put out little signs on things, and if you make a mistake and you notice it, tell us. If you have a question, there's a form to fill out. We'll try to answer you. These two are repositories of knowledge. May not have been born here, but they're getting reborn. They love our group. All right, you guys stick around if you want to, or sit. I'm gonna, oh, what is this about? Did you get this first? You do this first? Okay. Oh, just a quarterback check here. All right, so what I'm going to give our lovely volunteers is this really expensive pen that I found at Dollar General. I am frugal if nothing else, but it's gorgeous. All sparkly and shiny with a jewel on the top. And inside are postcards. Now, if y'all don't know, Tricia is really awesome on the computer, doing all kinds of things, recording our photos. She made these lovely postcards, and I'm going to pass around to y'all. They are $1 each, and the bargain rate is 6 for $5. I'll pass them around. You can see what they're like. Each volunteer will get a set. So here we go. The first, just pass them around so everybody can see you now. So our first Tuesday of each month is Anna Morris. I hope Anna's here. Did Anna make it today? I didn't see her coming in. Okay, Irene Sumick. And totally might be okay. There she is. Come on up, girl. We get to get a photo every year for this. And I didn't really miss Anna, did I? Something like that, but I would check on her. I just saw her yesterday and she was coming. Miss Irene. Thank you. And a hug. Okay. Now these two have to come up together because they're chained together. Martha and Wayne Long. They do our second Tuesday. Martha and Wayne, they're back. Yes, you too? I can come to you. You want me to come to you because you're not?
Having a hard time, Kathy.
I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Miss Maisie. I was driving Miss Maisie today. He was going to have a son bring her, but he was unavailable. Miss Maisie, come on up. Maisie. Who's sitting next to Maisie? I'm looking. Maisie. Maisie.
Maybe just have all the volunteers stand up and we'll go to them and give them their
Oh,
cards.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, Maisie. You want Tricia?
So we can.
And, right, so, Bob Sowell, give me a moment and I'll be there. He's got good legs, come on, guy. See, he's not gonna sit still for this, he's gonna move it. Here, Mr. Bob. Silver, doesn't look anything like him. Oh, well, we won't share that with everybody right now, but okay. And then Roger Brand, come on down. There he is. And these folks keep doing what they do. Now, you know, there's a lot of things on the shelf of the grocery store that have expiration points. We don't. And we hope that you will join us so you can work with these fine folks. We can pair you up, stretch the schedule. We always have 2 at a time for safety. Please join us if you can, or tell someone who can. Now, she has something I'm not quite sure about, so go with it.
So one of our previous board members and also one of our Tuesday volunteers who comes when she can, and she's always been so dedicated and so effervescently happy and excited when she comes in, and we just love having her around. She's chosen to take a step back from the board and just help out on committees, but we really, really appreciate everything she has done at the museum and for the Historical Society. Miss Sandra Baker, can you come up, please?
And she's not really going anywhere.
She's not leaving us, but we still need her. She's been
I've been so proud to be a part of this group, and it was a big decision to not be on the board anymore. But I'll show up for meetings sometimes and
All the time.
irritate and surprise
Every
you.
time.
Thank you.
Every time. You'll go.
We do appreciate all the volunteers, and one thing we need to do, we need to back up one step. We need to give all of our veterans a round of applause for their being here. let's see, Lauren, are you ready to swap? We had to do a little last minute computer swapping around here, and Lauren's gonna make sure we're running smoothly. We have, if you look through the book, once you get it swapped over, there are several things in this book that I'd like to just quickly go over while we get the video ready. The most neat thing, where's Chance? Chance Lindsay back there, somewhere, I saw Chance. There's Mr. Chance, yes, sir, yeah. He flew his drone over the area when we were bringing the escort into town, and there's a video online that you can see about that. And if you look at the picture that's the first photo in the program, is from a video. It's a still shot we took from the video that he shot during the Memorial Day program. Very interesting stuff. I love pictures like that. You'll see something really. The rest of these pages are pretty much self-explanatory, but we did a lot of work getting ready for the Vietnam Wall. The first page is the pictures where we're getting ready for that. The second page are paid pictures along the escort route. We had about 100 motorcycles, Hummers, Jeeps, cars, everything in the world. Escort the Vietnam Memorial into town. There's some pictures of that. There's also some video of that. And then there's just innumerable. I've got over 10,000 pictures that we took during the event, before the event. We had over 8,000 people at this thing. There's a lot of pictures in there, and some of you guys are in these pictures, so look at them, enjoy them. Then the next
2017 was a banner year for the Saxe Historical Society. Our crowning event was held in May when well over 8,000 visitors came to the Vietnam Combat Veterans Moving Wall. In November, we had our largest crowd ever for the 6th annual Veterans Day program. We thank our city and our community for supporting our many efforts. We are continually improving our facilities and our programs and would like to make 2018 even better. Now let us show you a little of what we've done this past year, and let us encourage you to be part of the Saxe Historical Society for 2018. In early 2017, we began in earnest working on plans for the Vietnam Wall Memorial. We wanted to wait until after the Christmas and New Year holidays so people would not be too distracted. We also began planning for our annual meeting, which is held each March. The caboose on Highway 78 was designated with a historical marker in time for our annual meeting. Our city worked diligently to repaint the caboose and the logo, to put in new landscaping and lighting, and to improve the electrical service for our city's most visible and beloved landmark. At the conclusion of the annual meeting, our group made the short journey across 5th Street to participate in the unveiling of the historical marker. The Wiley and Murphy Historical Societies joined forces with our group to become what we affectionately call the Tri-City Historical Society. Since we are all closely connected through marriage and business associations, we collectively promote the history of our communities. We meet quarterly to discuss plans and upcoming events. By April, we were meeting weekly with our city staff to plan for the Vietnam Moving Wall Memorial. This event was one of the most significant events ever to come to our city. The Saxe Historical Society initiated, coordinated, sponsored, and paid for this exhibit, which was held at our beautiful City Hall complex and was the feature event at our city's Memorial Day program. Almost 100 vehicles participated in an escort to bring it into our city. Hundreds of children from 3 of our Saxe schools lined the streets to experience this once-in-a-lifetime event. Several hundred visitors attended the Memorial Day program. Visitors from over 100 miles away came to see this memorial. They were able to experience Saxe's hospitality and to see our beautiful City Hall campus. Part of our responsibility was to guide visitors through the exhibit and to explain its design and meaning. We also helped friends find their loved ones' names etched on the wall. This was an incredible and moving experience. Lloyd Henderson was one of the most influential members of the Saxe Historical Society and was one of our founding members. He was a wealth of information about every aspect of our past and the development of this area. He was the longest-serving city manager of Saxe
and was influential in many of the policies and procedures our city currently uses. He entertained our annual meeting twice in recent years, when he interviewed himself and again when he appeared as a railroad surveyor. Lloyd's last meeting with us was on July 15th. He presented us with his letter of resignation, which we reluctantly accepted. Lloyd passed away September 11th, 2017. We honored Lloyd's family with a proclamation from the mayor and a memorial plaque from our group during a city council meeting on September 18th. At the 2017 Fall Fest, a photo opportunity was available with a mock-up of our caboose. Books were available for sale, and 2 new postcards were unveiled. On Veterans Day, reenactors displayed period weapons and apparel during our outdoor event. Our keynote speaker was retired Captain C.B. Perdue, a World War II combat veteran. We also paid a long overdue tribute to our Vietnam-era veterans with a personalized certificate and a unique lapel pin provided by the U.S. Department of Defense. A special addition to our Veterans Day program is a presentation by our member Bob Soul to the family of a recently deceased veteran. This year's recipient was the family of Lloyd Henderson. During our Christmas party, we honored our volunteers for their dedicated service. They open our museum, welcome visitors, and help keep our city's history alive. Thank you for allowing us to show you our 2017 year in review. We invite you to come join us with new members, new ideas, and new energy.
Y'all can watch the Oscars tomorrow night. I think there's a presentation on the red carpet that we're expecting. At the Vietnam, the honoring of that, so that was the first of the events that we had on some of the veterans from the 55 to 75 era. So we're hoping to get as many as we possibly can included in this. Enjoy this book. If there's pictures on here, these will all be on the website. There is a, let's see, Miss Bueller, will you stand back there? Miss Bueller, will you stand? This is the person that's helping with the website. I have been abysmally a failure getting everything posted like I should. And Lindsay's come along to help handle that stuff. We're just real quick, we're redoing the website so it's more adaptive to different display sizes. So if you look at SaxonHistoricalSociety.com or org, it looks different. We're getting all that working over the next little few weeks. We should have some of that. But all these pictures will be on there. The videos of the different events that we do, including today's presentation will be on there. Now, someone had asked about a video, how much we charge for video of this. We don't charge anything. You can just go look at it online. And if you'd like the copy, you can download it off of our website or off of YouTube. So if you have any questions or problems, let us know. That will help you know, but there is no charge for that. We've done a lot, I think, for our organization and for our city, and we consider it an honor to live here in this area. My wife and I have been here, I guess this is, well, I've been working with the Fall Fest, this will be my 30th year. Been involved in just about everything, not quite, but close. And we've been enjoying living in a community that's still a small community of sorts, but growing, of course, but it still has a hometown feel. A lot of things are changing. We are going to unveil something that we're planning on doing here a little bit later. But part of our goals for this year are, if you look at the book, is the caboose is across the street over there. The city, as it was talked about in the video, has got it all fixed up outside, painted, put logos on it, got the landscaping fixed, lighting, that sort of thing. Inside, Zach Gray, what's your name, Doug, and what's your name, by the way, Diana? A whole bunch of, get up here and a few people's names. They've done an amazing amount of work inside the caboose getting it ready for tours. Part of our goal this year is to have that ready for tours by this summer. Another of our goals is to do some work on our museum. There's a lot happening down in this downtown area right now, and no one is better attuned to telling us about that than our city manager, Ms. Gina Nash. She's been with our city, this is your fourth year?
2.5.
2.5 years. Well, we're very glad that you're here. And she's going to make a presentation, talk a little bit about the plans for our downtown, because there's a significant change taking place right in this area where this museum is right now. So, Ms. Gina, would you come forward, and you're welcome to I think that's some information to tell us about. Where would you like this? Did you see that?
Over here, that'd be great.
All right.
Well, thank you, Bobby, for inviting me to come and speak today. And thank you all for coming to hear me talk about SACSI, certainly the future portions of SACSI and what the city's role will be in that. But first and foremost, I want to thank the Historical Society for how you have honored the Vietnam veterans since the wall and, of course, the things that you've done, Veterans Day and today. This has special meaning to me because my father was in Vietnam, 1970, late 1969 to end of 1970. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2016 from Parkinson's disease, which a lot of Vietnam veterans got from high exposure to Agent Orange. So kind of think about it as my father had sort of the precursors to, unfortunately, when he passed away in 2016. But he was beloved, and he was very private about what he did in Vietnam, and we found his Bronze Star of Valor actually after he passed away. So we made sure that he was recognized, and his remains are at DFW National Cemetery. So I just want to thank you all for your service. With that, I'm going to change gears and I want to talk about SACSI, our past, present, and future. So my name is Gina Nash, and I am the city manager for SACSI, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here to talk to you about this topic because it's a very exciting topic for us relative to developing our old town, as we're calling it. So I think it's fitting that I'm actually here at the Historical Society to talk about this because really this is a project that's close to my heart, because I feel like it's a reflection of how great the community is of SACSI, and that's what this project is going to reflect. So to start, I want to spend a little bit of time about talking about the past. I've actually done some reading. I read Lloyd Henderson's book when I first got to SACSI, and I didn't have a lot of context for it, so I read it again recently so I could put some context to it after 2.5 years here. So, and threaded some of his information throughout my presentation. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what our future is, and everybody should have a copy of the presentation and you can follow along. So I want to talk about our past. So obviously SACSI owes our beginnings to farming and the development of the railroads. Our founder, William SACSI, embraced the collaboration between area landowners and the railroad companies with his quote, "I think everyone who lives on the line should do his duty by tendering the right-of-way." In return for his right-of-way donation, the Gulf, Santa Fe, and Colorado companies actually agreed to build a depot, named the town SACSI, and give Mr. SACSI a lifetime travel pass. So one of the things that I think is very interesting about this when I initially read some of these comments is that William SACSI understood economic development back when he developed and the town was named after him, because he understood two very important things. Transportation and commerce must be joined together. And he knew that from the very beginning. And it's evidenced through the book and when he talks about in the quotes that were talked about in there about his understanding that if he didn't make the donations he made and everybody else didn't, that SACSI wouldn't become the thriving and growing community I believe that he hoped it would become. So he had a vision for what this town could be, and his decision to collaborate with the railroad companies set progress in motion for our community and literally laid the tracks for our future. So let's talk about today. 132 years later, SACSI is a vibrant, safe, and beautiful community that offers its residents an excellent quality of life. The city has grown during the years, but has held steadfast to our heritage and small town charm. So as we plan for the future of SACSI, it's imperative that we retain the core values and the character of this community. So in 2016, the City Council, the staff, and the community embarked on a journey, a comprehensive plan journey, one that had started in 2001, really laid a lot of foundations, but this was really the start of the next step in the journey. And so it was a year-long planning endeavor where we went through that journey. Our comprehensive plan, what we call Plan SACSI, was an effort that was a labor of love for the community, for the staff, and certainly for the council along the way. With input from the residents and the community stakeholders, we were really able to establish a vision for SACSI for years to come. What I love most about the comprehensive plan is it's not a plan of change at all. It's not a plan to make SACSI new. It's a plan that's rooted in the community's core values that helps us plan for the future with our identity in mind. Something that we call creating an authentic future. When you open up the comprehensive plan, the first title that you see in that is creating an authentic plan, an authentic future. What does that mean? I like the word authentic, and I actually use it a lot, so I find it interesting that this was at the beginning of the comprehensive plan and really was sort of threaded throughout this. When we say authentic, and I use this word a lot with my staff and at the city, I talk about being real, about being who we really are, not something that we're not. And authenticity, we all know, shines through us in everything that we do. If we're being real and we're being authentic, people know. We all know when someone's fake, or we know when something's fake. You can tell I'm being authentic right now because I'm nervous. And I'm very passionate about this topic. So I think it's important as we embarked on this that our future would be authentic, that it was something that came from the community, was really a part of the community. So when the visioning was happening for this whole comprehensive plan, residents talked about what their vision was for the future of SACSI and what they wanted to see in the community through a variety of surveys and focus groups and town hall meetings. And during this process, we began hearing and understanding what the heart of SACSI really is and what it's about, this downtown area. Residents said things like, our old town should be revitalized. We want local businesses, small venues for public gatherings, whether it's food truck parks or farmers markets. We want small infill housing and live-work units that could be appropriate along with improved streetscaping and open spaces. So an authentic future is about the heart of a community. It's not something that can be manufactured. It has to happen organically and authentically. We want our downtown to be genuine, intentional, and reflective of SACSI. This will not be something that you can find in another city because that's not what we want. This will be completely unique to our community. When I ask myself and others what would success be like if this comes to fruition in the way that we want it, it's that people will assume that the downtown area was originally contemplated because it integrates beautifully with the community. It's part of the fiber and the fabric of the neighborhoods and what it's supposed to be. So that's really what this project and this labor of love is about. It's about being what the community really wants and how it integrates well. So let's talk about where we're headed next. So we talk about the heart of SACSI. Some of the things that kept coming up were pedestrian-friendly streets, a central domain destination, open space integration with existing neighborhood fabric. These were a lot of the statements that we kept hearing over and over and over. So let's take a walk through what that would look like. Let's take a walk to Old Town. So envision, if you will, if you were walking through this area, you would see residential mixed with small businesses that are compatible with the older neighborhoods. Maybe some ground floor retail and some upper floor residential. Some small infill residential to transition nicely into the neighborhoods. Some standalone restaurants, small retail businesses, connected all together with large sidewalks to improve walkability in the area. When we talk about design, we want to make sure that these are facades and structures that blend with the existing neighborhood fabric. That revitalization of the older properties is retained because we want our historic character. Pedestrian-friendly streetscapes, building setbacks that enhance those connections among all of the spaces that are there. Cafe spaces, courtyards, forecourts, patios. A mix of uses, townhouses, single-family homes, retail, and other things. All of these things would work together with the infrastructure, but really, again, to create that walkable sense of place. So the zoning of this area is really designed to blend the Fifth Street area with the existing fabrics surrounding neighborhoods. It encourages small businesses to open in existing homes, maybe boutiques, antique shops, restaurants, art galleries, theaters, museums, and small-scale retail. The zoning redirects auto-centric uses to outside the downtown area to promote a walkable, pedestrian-friendly atmosphere. So when you look at this slide, and you have this in your packet, what I want to show you is that the idea is that you see the gray areas in the core. Hang on, Lauren's going to get a little pointer for me. Go to the main one, Lauren. You got it, just go to this main area, right? So what you see in that center part, the gray area, that's really what we're calling the downtown south. And that's going to be the core of the retail, the restaurants, really the commerce part of it. But then what you see is that that blends into the neighborhoods. So over time, you see how it blends across to those areas. And then, of course, the spaces that actually front Highway 78 would be considered Highway 78 commercial. That's on the south side. When you move to the north side of 78, you'll see that there's a downtown north area, and then the idea of blending it into the neighborhoods surrounding it. So again, on 78, commercial, you have a downtown north, a downtown south, and then of course you have the fabric of the neighborhoods surrounding it. Next. What I want to make sure to help everybody understand is what this area is not. It's not zoning homeowners out of their homes. If you want to stay and live here forever, that's certainly your prerogative and your right, and you should. And if you choose not to, then you choose not to, and you choose to settle, and there's a zoning that's set up in that area that may make those changes. It's certainly not a property taken by the city or the EDC. I want to make sure everybody understands that. No one's taking anybody's property. And I'll show you some property that EDC has purchased recently, but there would definitely not be any takings as long as I'm here and the city council is who they are. That's just not the way that this whole project has been envisioned. And it is certainly not an elimination of the social and economic fabric of the existing district. There's no desire to get rid of what's here. What the desire is to have a vibrant core that you saw in the downtown south and the downtown north areas, and make sure that those blend in with the neighborhoods. It's really about creating a walkable, pedestrian-friendly commerce area that's enjoyable not only for the neighborhoods, but if others want to come and see what we have to offer as well. So what happens now? Well, I want to talk about some of the projects that we're working on now relative to this area to kind of get prepared for this. So the comprehensive plan, as I talked about, was adopted actually early last year in March of 2017. In December of 2017, the zoning map that you saw was adopted and the subsequent language that goes along with it to give the finer details of development standards in the district. So how do we get everybody there, and how is all that going to be possible? Well, one of the things that is already in motion is the City of Sachse and Dallas County are in a partnership to widen Sachse Road and improve Sachse Road. So the first part of that project, and Lauren can pull it in. Can you pull up the pointer for me? So the first phase will start at Miles Road and Sachse Road, and it'll move west. Continue on more, keep going. So as you see the little red dot there, it's moving down. Keep going more. And then once it gets to that point right there, that will actually become a roundabout at Sachse Road and 5th Street. So then, once you go up 5th Street, that portion will be widened all the way up to 78. And that piece of, no more, just no more. So from the roundabout at the bottom, go up 5th Street to 78. The diagonal, no, right? Right there. And keep going straight up. No. I'm not a good director. There you go, you're right there. There you go. Keep going, Lauren. Right up. There we go.
There you go. All the way to the
Lauren's only been with us 6 weeks, so she hasn't figured out my hand motions yet. So that portion, the Fifth Street portion, is what, and I just wanted to put this in here to orient you on kind of, you are here, kind of here, and you see the Historical Society Museum is up there. Make sure that was on. So now knowing that, go to the next slide, Lauren. This is the portion of this is what Fifth Street is going to look like. So at the bottom, what you're seeing there is what we call a typical section for a roadway. It's kind of like taking a sandwich or a cake and slicing it in half so you can kind of see what all the parts are. So this is what that roadway is going to look like. As we were working through the comprehensive plan, we were talking to our consultants and talking to residents and surveys and focus groups and all those things. We all sort of hit the pause button and went, wait a minute. We are building a roadway that will be great for transit, but we're going to zip those people right through this old town area and get them right out of here. And it's not going to be a walkable, interesting place to hang out and make people slow down and take a look around. So we worked with Dallas County to change that roadway section to look like this. So you'll see that there are the wide sidewalks, tree wells, there'll be on-street parking, and then you'll have the travel lanes. So the idea is you'll be able to move quickly on Saxe Road, but as you get up to Fifth Street, you can slow down a little and there'll be things to do and see and all those sorts of things and be able to park and go to all the different opportunities that are there. And if you still want to go to the light and get on 78, you can do that as well. So this project, like I said, it's led by Dallas County. It's a 50-50 partnership between the city of Saxe and Dallas County. So the plans will actually go out to bid by Dallas County in May, and we'll start construction by the end of the calendar year. So as I said, the streets will be lined with trees, there'll be on-street parking and large sidewalks, because we want everyone to slow down and see what we have to offer. So this project will take about 15 months to construct, and to ease some of that traffic congestion and all of those things, we are redoing the portion of Bryan Street from essentially just past City Hall up to Williford. So at least that's an improved area while everyone's trying to get around all the construction on Saxe Road. So now I want to talk about the actual Fifth Street development. Do I sound harsh? Because I am. Nervous?
That's a lot of talking.
It is a lot.
Only I can do that.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Fifth Street development. So at the bottom point, Lauren, all the way there, right there, keep going, down, right there. So that's the connection where Saxe Road and Fifth Street come together. So as you'll see here, the parts that are all outlined in red, the Saxe EDC purchased all of those parcels in several different transactions during 2017. All of that area is a little over 6 acres. This will really be the initial catalyst for the Fifth Street development. So the EDC and actually myself will be working together on looking at developers to partner with to develop this initial area. And the idea is that this area will have all the commercial in it. It will have retail, restaurants, all those types of things. So the EDC will be spending the next several months working with potential developers to see who will be the right one to fit with this project. What I want to say about that that's very important is because I've heard different conversations from folks about should the EDC have bought the property, should they have not, should they have done anything when they didn't have a developer lined up. Some of these types of things are really, in some ways, a little bit of a leap of faith, but we spent many hours interviewing developers as part of the comprehensive plan process saying, is this something you'd be interested in? Is this something you can wrap your mind around and have the same vision that we have? And we had developer after developer say, yes, we absolutely can see this vision. But what's going to be most important is we want to make sure whoever is selected has the same vision for this area as we do. And that's going to take some time to find the right person. It's kind of like making the decision between buying an old home that you need to fix up and a house that's already got everything in it. Well, that old home takes some care and it takes some vision and some thought. And you gotta buy the right things and the right banisters and the right paint and the right, because you wanna make sure that it sets the right stage and tone and vision that you want. And that's the process that we'll go through for selecting a developer. We need to make sure they have the same vision and the same understanding and the same commitment and dedication to this project that we do. And that takes time. So in the next several months, we're going to be working to find that exact developer to make sure that it's the right fit for Saxe and what we want. So we hope that we'll be able to unveil some of that later in 2018. So I really want to wrap this up by saying this was one of the original plats of Saxe, Dallas County in 1886. And I did a lot of reading about this and kind of how the streets were laid out, the very conscientious way the streets were named after members of the Saxe family, and I think that's wonderful, and we don't want to change any of that because then we lose who we are. I don't know about you all, but Bobby had talked about going to different museums all through the state because that's something he's interested in, because being on the Historical Society and looking at all these different places and saying, you know, how they've got this, they've got that, you know. I like this, I don't so much like that. I have a passion for downtowns. I came from a community that had a downtown that we needed to rebuild and go through that whole process, and I love going to see downtowns. But the thing is, whatever comes to Saxe and is in this downtown, it's what belongs in Saxe. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Just because it works in Grapevine, or it works in Roanoke, or it works in Forney, where I came from, doesn't mean it's going to work here. So that's why I say it's so important whoever is selected understands what's going to work for Saxe and what helps us stay with our identity. Because that's what's going to make an authentic and real downtown for our residents and for our community. So with that, on behalf of the City Council and certainly myself, I want to thank you for the opportunity to share the story and take you on a little walk through our old town. I do want to leave each of you with a little gift. As members of the Historical Society, you help write the past. That's what you do, and you document it and make sure that we preserve that and we don't lose that. And so what I challenge all of you to do is maybe help us write our future. So Cindy's out passing out a little small gift, the Saxe pen from us to thank you for your time today and help us write our future. So with that, Bobby, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or I can sit down and start talking.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, everybody get your gift. I got one. That's all right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And Lauren, thank you. Lauren had to fill in and take care of my deal too, because we couldn't get all of our stuff thrown online, so thank you for handling that. Some of the pictures at the back is, by the way, the caboose that's on the front of the publication by the city and the Vietnam Wall, we brought those, I included those in our little packet because it's kind of neat to have your own pictures on the front of the publication. Well, we've heard quite a bit about our city goals. Where's Mr. Ed? Mr. Ed? Where did he go? Mr. Ed? There he comes. All right. We've got one more quick thing and then we're going to get going. As part of the plans that we have for the downtown area, we want to be compatible with the development of this area. One of our major projects on the Historical Society roster this year, as you may have noted, is the getting the caboose ready for tours this summer. The other thing is we want to do some work over at our museum. And we have started plans. We have developed what we call the expansion evaluation, what's it called? It's the EQ committee. I can't remember all these math terms. Expansion evaluation, I can't remember what's it called now. I can't remember my name. Anyway, we've come up with some plans, initial plans, very preliminary plans. And Ed, he has gone with our committee that's developed this. We've started kind of laying out some ideas what we'd like to do to add on to our museum over here. We will be asking for help in various ways, either donation of time, money, grants. One of the reasons we put a little video together, one of the reasons we put this publication together is that when we go out to the grant people we're gonna make applications to for grant funding, we wanna have a professional looking document. And, sir? Oh, okay. But anyway, this is just preliminary. You're welcome to come look at it. We'll have more information on our website soon. But this is kind of what we're planning on. We're taking ideas for a while. All right, that just about wraps it up. What?
These are donated by the safety. Excuse me, chamber.
Oh, those are the maps?
The maps.
Okay, yeah. Those I do like. We've got several things to hand out. Make sure that you get anything that you'd like. Do we get pictures of it, or we're going to take some more pictures up here? Do we get, all the gentlemen are still here, aren't they? I would like to get one picture of each one, of all of you together up here in front of the flag if we could. And we're going to call this meeting to a close. As soon as we finish here, you're welcome to walk across the way. Your driver walking over here. They have treats and stuff at the museum. Thank you guys for coming. God bless y'all and you have a great day.